Chapter 23 of the Dao De Jing. Dao, pronounced Dao as in now, opens with 3 words. Sparse speech is natural. Everything else in the chapter grows from that seed. It uses wind and rain to show you something about force and duration. Then it makes an argument about alignment that is difficult to put down once you've understood it. Ziyan Ziran, Gu piāo fēng bu zhōng zhāo zhu yu bu zhōng rai, shu wei asai ji, Tiāndì, Tiāndì shàng bu néng ju, er kang yu rain hu, gu kóng shi yu dao ji dao ji, tong yu dao, de ji tong yu de, shi ji tong yu shi, tong yu dao ji dao yi li de jai, tong yu de ji de yi li de jai, tong yu shi ji shi li de jai, zin bu zu, yan yu bu zin yan. Sparse speech is natural. A gale does not blow all morning. A downpour does not fall all day. What produces these? Heaven and earth. If heaven and earth cannot sustain force for long, how much less can a person? Therefore, those who follow the Tao become one with the Tao. Those who follow virtue become one with virtue. Those who follow loss become one with loss. When you are one with the Tao gladly receives you. When you are one with virtue, virtue gladly receives you. When you are one with loss, loss gladly receives you. Where trust runs short, there you find distrust. The opening line is not a rule about speaking less. It's an observation. Nature does not announce itself. The universe produces things without commentary. Sparse speech is not a discipline imposed on yourself. It's what happens when you stop pushing. The gale and the downpour are examples of force applied at its maximum. The storm that strips branches, the rain that floods low ground, neither can hold that pitch. They are intense because they cannot last. Force and duration are intention. Extreme expression burns itself out. This is not a moral claim. It's what you can observe. Then the text turns to heaven and earth as the largest frame of reference available, not as God's, but as the most comprehensive system we can point at. If that system cannot sustain its own most violent expressions beyond a morning, a day, the text asks plainly, what gives you the idea that you can? This is written toward people with authority, but it applies to anyone who has tried to hold a position through sheer force, of personality, of argument, of will. The storm technique works. It works briefly. The alignment passage is the chapter's weight-bearing section. Those who follow the Tao become one with the Tao. Those who follow virtue, meaning something like integrity in action, become one with it. Those who follow loss, Chinese letter, a falling away from alignment, become one with that. This is not mystical. It's a description of a pattern you can watch. What you give your decisions to, your attention, your years, that is what you become. A person who acts consistently from integrity grows into someone that integrity trusts back. A person who acts consistently from calculation, from undermining, from the habitual sacrifice of alignment, becomes someone that loss recognizes and returns to, not as punishment, as recognition. You've practiced your way into a certain kind of home. The phrase used for this is li de jai, gladly receives. There's no transaction here, no scorekeeping. The Tao doesn't reward you for good behavior. It receives you when you've arrived at the right orientation. The last line is the one that can stay with you longest. Where trust runs short, there you find distrust. Read it about a leader. A person who does not genuinely trust the people around them produces a context in which they are not trusted back. The deficit is not private. It radiates. Read it about yourself, where you withhold real faith in what you're doing, in the direction you've chosen. That insufficiency shows up in what you build. You cannot convincingly commit to something you don't actually believe, and the gap is legible to others before it's fully visible to you. There's a practical edge here about duration. If what you're building requires more than a morning, any project, relationship, or institution that asks for years, the storm approach won't hold it. Intense force followed by exhaustion is not a foundation. The deeper observation is about what you actually align yourself with over time. The chapter doesn't tell you what to choose. It describes a logic. What you consistently orient toward tends to receive you. This is not fate. It's more like the shape you grow into opening certain possibilities and for closing others. The chapter doesn't offer an action item. It offers a mirror. What you are actually aligned with. Not what you say you value, but where your decisions actually point. That is what you're becoming one with. And it receives you accordingly. A gale does not blow all morning. The argument for speaking little, acting from depth, and aligning genuinely with what you are actually pursuing is not aesthetic. It's structural. Everything else is a storm. Intense and brief. The next chapter is 24.